The entire foundational composition of society and the economy is developed and built upon the education system. Education is facing several complex issues today. These issues revolve around central recurring actions that are meant to reproduce the status quo among privileged races and the wealthy elite, thereby widening the racial and socioeconomic gap of opportunity. The core of the failing education system is lack of professional precedent and standards for teachers, the main contributors to education. Policies on top of policies from wealthy elite individuals have crippled and silenced teachers with stereotypes aimed to discount all their credibility. It is these policies and actions that have forever stricken teachers with the disease of flawed perception. More specifically, educators are overall not even considered to be skilled laborers within the workforce. Society thinks anyone can be a teacher. The compensation therefore unfairly reflects this flawed perception. Standards for teachers are unclear, uneven, and too low across the board. Teachers are being unfairly evaluated on criteria that they are unprepared for. Evaluations are also unhelpful, not collaborative, and have no clear standards for what good teaching methods really are. In addition to this, administrative personnel are not being given enough time for evaluations, which prohibit them from being able to consider the needs of the teachers. Teachers today are recklessly being hired based off of resume qualifications and credentials, and not for performance and experience. All of these factors are crippling the system as a whole by keeping retention rates and number of highly qualified teachers low, therefore restricting all students from having a fair opportunity to learn.
The United States has undergone tremendous educational reform throughout history. However, long-standing problems and concerns with the American education system still remain today, especially those regarding existing teacher evaluation systems. There are many fairly evident problems with current teacher evaluation systems in the U.S., as outlined in the book, Getting Teacher Evaluation Right. One such problem is a lack of clear, consistent standards of good teaching practice, along with no focus on improving practice. The current guidelines that attempt to guide teaching practice simply list elements of effective teaching, but do not elaborate on what shows evidence of these. Thus, teachers cannot improve if they are not clearly assessed. Another problem is that current procedures do not necessarily consider teachers' needs. Evaluation procedures now are determined primarily by contract rules and seniority, with new teachers being evaluated more often, and schools do not take into consideration which teachers could actually benefit the most from being evaluated. Student test scores are also relied heavily upon for evaluating a teacher's performance. Current systems make assumptions that student learning can be best measured by a given standardized test, and that a student's learning is influenced only by the teacher without accounting for other aspects of the school context. It is likely that these assumptions lead to inaccurate teacher evaluations. There have been some attempts to improve teacher evaluation systems, especially in recent years. Nearly half of the states have received school improvement grants and are seeking more time to create new teacher evaluation systems. Despite these attempts to improve teacher evaluation in the U.S., there is still a lot of room for improvement. New and improved teacher evaluation systems should adopt a much more holistic, comprehensive approach to developing educators throughout the course of their careers. These new systems should capture teaching in action, observe and assess aspects of teaching related to teachers' effectiveness, consider teachers' goals and strategies, observe teaching in relation to student learning, and use rubrics that more vividly describe performance standards. In addition, new systems should seek professional assistance and development for teachers in need after evaluation. This professional development should be intensive and connected to practice, focus on the teaching and learning of specific academic content, and help build strong collaborative relationships among educators. By adopting a new and improved teacher evaluation system, as previously described, not only will the quality of teachers improve, but so will the quality of education in America.
Alternative teaching certification programs are growing rapidly across America today. The number of alternative programs that certify teachers have skyrocketed from 12 in 1983 to 485 in 2007. The number of certifications issued during this growth has reached 60,000 certifications issued between 2005 and 2006. This rapid increase has made up a third of all new teachers in the classroom today. A few of the big-name alternative teaching certification programs today include Teach for America, Teaching Fellows Program, and American Board for Certification of Teacher Excellence. Teach for America and the Teaching Fellows Program both select individuals for an accelerated boot camp-like training for in-the-classroom teaching, including summer training programs and mentor coaches along the way. American Board for Certification of Teacher Excellence, also known as the ABCTE, has taken rapid growth in the last few years. The ABCTE is an online or a program that requires individuals to pass 2 tests in order to receive certification. Through these alternative certification programs, members are trained to teach in low-achieving, low-income areas, as well as to teach in subjects of high demand. These programs are intended to place individuals in schools where there is the greatest need of teachers. The question is, how effective are teachers through these routes of alternative certification in the classroom? A student's success falls on the effectiveness of the teacher in the classroom. So are these teachers as effective as those teachers who have taken traditional routes to becoming teachers? Research has shown that alternative teaching programs produce teachers who do just as well as teachers who took a traditional route, if not better. A study designed by an analyst at Mathematica Policy Research of Princeton, New Jersey, conducted a report on the effectiveness of secondary math teachers from Teach for America in the Teaching Fellows program. The study found that Teach for America teachers were better than traditional math teachers. The study indicates that there are a lot of good reasons why Teach for America teachers have been more effective, but states that members of Teach for America are fresh volunteers, proven academic high achievers, and enthusiastic as only newbies in a challenged or failing system can be. So, if the alternative routes to teacher certification are not causing a notable difference in comparison to teachers of the traditional routes, what is the issue? The issue is that we are putting money into fast-tracking individuals into a classroom that they are not prepared to stay in. Statistics show that 30 to 50% of new teachers leave the field within 5 years of teaching. Looking more specifically at Teach for America, more than 50% of their members leave the field after just the first 2 years, and more than 80% leave after 3. These alternative programs may be producing effective teachers, although they are not producing lifelong educators. A solution to this problem is to raise the standard of these alternative programs and making requirements more equal to those of traditional certification routes. In order to ensure that every child has a highly qualified educator, we must raise the standard across the board. Through alternative certifications, we are receiving effective teachers who produce good student test scores, however, lack in classroom management and less in pedagogy. These are all requirements of highly qualified teachers. Therefore, we need to raise the standard and training methods of these alternative routes to produce highly qualified teachers that remain in the profession.
25% of new teachers quit the profession within the first 5 years of teaching in order to pursue other careers. Another 25% said that they were leaving because they were no longer interested in teaching or were dissatisfied with teaching. The Alliance for Excellent Education found that both migration and attrition are costly, with taxpayers losing approximately $2.2 billion per year to teacher migration and $2.7 billion per year to teacher attrition. The costly problem that we are facing is that we cannot maintain a highly qualified teaching profession for several reasons, including a lack of support from administrators, proper preparatory education and experience, an adequate work environment, and a deficiency in resources provided for teaching. The even larger issue is how these different factors affect student outcomes when they cannot be taught by teachers that have continual experience. Statistics show that when an unhappy veteran teacher leaves a school, replacing that teacher with one of similar quality is extremely difficult, as noted in the picture. On top of that, a study has shown that new graduate teachers end up teaching at minority schools. With that said, we force our inexperienced and unconfident novice teachers to teach students that need more support and encouragement than students at average schools, leading to more pressure and dissatisfaction within the profession. These factors can easily explain why attrition rates are so high within the first 5 years of teaching. Since many of these issues take more money than states and schools are able to give, the factor that needs the greatest attention is finding ways to support our teachers to keep them in the profession and prevent the high cost of new teacher induction. The easiest solution that we can do to increase the support for teachers and prevent attrition is creating and enhancing strong mentoring programs for novice teachers. These mentoring programs should include carefully selected veteran teachers and administrators that use a systematic approach to provide support for teaching and learning, assist with new teacher development, provide leadership, and constantly assess novice teachers and provide them with feedback on ways to improve, as well as encouragement and how to include them in decision-making regarding the school and its students. Molly Lasagna from the National Comprehensive Center for Teaching Quality stated that high-quality mentoring will not only increase novices' retention and effectiveness, but it will also act as a catalyst in establishing a professional community among beginning and veteran teachers, keeping them in the profession longer, therefore increasing student outcomes and school success.
Even though most teachers agree that compensation is not the main reason that they are in the profession, teacher pay and tenure could become a major player in improving education. Basically, a pay system that is fair and based on teacher performance and achievement rather than experience and credentials will add incentives for the top graduates in America to make teaching their long-term career. In addition to gaining the most elite citizens, increased pay and an overhauled tenure system will also improve the societal perception of teaching and will cause a domino effect of increased professional capital. What this will look like is an increase in compensation implemented over time that will be based on performance of teachers. The performance will be determined through a much more applicable model developed through research and scholarly findings on what perfect teaching methods really are. Tenure should have much higher standards and ultimately have policies intertwined within to decrease the temptation of becoming complacent. These changes, in addition to everything mentioned previously, will make teachers more professional, increase state standards for teachers, and will surely provide each and every student with a highly qualified teacher.